Going on, Trailer Trash? Johnny from Trailer Made in the 80s. Coming at you from South Central PA on a beautiful Wednesday. So, I was asked the other day by someone I work with. I was, kind of talking about how I'm slowly writing this book, Trailer Made in the 80s. And he was asking me what it's about, and I was telling him, and he's like, so what was it like? What was it like growing up like that? In the trailer park. And at first, I always default to, man, it was everything you think it is, you know, quintessential, stereotypical trailer park, whatever, your brain conjures is what it was. But it was, at the same time so much more. Um it was it was a community. This trailer park, there was a couple hundred trailers in it. Um all types of people, you know, trailers of all different stages of dilapidation, or there was new ones. I mean, it was like any other small little city. The only I shouldn't say the only, but one of the biggest things that differentiated it from, a small little city is the fact that we didn't have a police force, you know. Um in rural Saratoga County, between Galway, New York, the smallest incorporated village in the state of New York, and Ballston Spa, which, let's admit, it wasn't much bigger. Very, very small city. It's village. They call it the village. Um, yeah, we didn't have a police force. We didn't have that. We had a park manager, and that was crazy. Well, thinking back when shortly after I first moved in there and I started falling in with the likes of like Timmy Kinney and Jim Marr, Ricky Marr. Um, God, who else was in there? I mean, those were the kids that were like my age, delinquents. When I started falling in with those guys and we started getting in trouble, I mean, I remember nights where, we're out after dark because, our parents didn't give one shit where we were. We're out just fucking around, and we would notice Bill Kinney. We would notice his Lincoln Continental, cruising the streets, just monitoring what's going on. He knew that he knew we were out. He knew we were bad kids, and we would see those lights. We knew his car. I mean, Lincoln Continental, like a fucking living room on wheels. And we would watch for those lights, and we would jump in the ditch. We would get out of sight, wait for him to go by, and ha ha, yuck it up after he did, and it was just fucking fantastic, and it honed our skills, at you know, being creepers, night stalkers, we do whatever we want, no one will ever see us. It was fucking great. Um, yeah, but when you're living with, hardly any supervision and no money, what the fuck else you gonna do? You're gonna go out and you're gonna make some fun. Fun might not always have been legal, but it was fun. So I don't think I don't think there's a lot of places today in the year 2025 where 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds could ever get away with that. Nah. 11, 12-year-old kids out now, they think they absolutely know you're a criminal, and they're coming down on you. And the way a lot of parents are nowadays, they're not even letting their kids out after dark. Anyhow, um, it was just a different world, you know. Um, And that's just the way it started. As time dragged by, you know, uh, me and my buddies, like Murray and Steve Ferrucci and Rob Harrington, biggest silent delinquent of them all, Rob Harrington, and you fucking know what I'm talking about, Rob. Um, Alan Hall, Mark Rogers, uh, all these guys. Andy Sestero. Um, yeah, I mean, we just raised fucking hell, dude. You know, I remember most of my time spent not being at my trailer. Most of it. I was on the roads. I was, walking around, you know, causing fucking trouble. Most of my friends' parents didn't want me around. Oh, that Johnny Kieran, he ain't nothing but fucking trouble. He ain't going nowhere. They were right. At that time, they were absolutely fucking right. I didn't give a shit about anything except for, you know, getting high and chasing skirts as much as I could. Wasn't good looking. I was small. I just had a fucking attitude. It's the only thing that got me through. So when I'm asked what life was like, kind of it, man. You had to be tough. You had to be, aware all the fucking time who was around you, um, how to get out of the situation you're in. Always look for an exit. You're just always on your toes. And yeah, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. It taught me fucking tons, you know? Um, and there was obviously something to it, some allure to it, because a lot of the kids that hung out in the trailer park, after a while, like getting into ninth grade, 10th grade, they didn't fucking live there. They're getting trucked in, having their parents drop them off, or if they had a car, they'd be coming in, staying at a friend's house. You know, um, every fucking weekend, be tons of fucking kids parties, getting crazy, cruising up the road to Kim Clark's house. Kelly Joe's. Just get fucking nuts. You know, Teenage fucking angst. It was glorious. So yeah, somebody asked me what it was like. That's scratching the surface. Scratching the surface. We'll dig more into this, I'm sure. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Uh, Send me your questions. You want to talk about something specific? Gonna try and do this at least once a week. It'll be a little more formatted as time goes. I personally don't like to edit video, so I just like to free flow. You know, you may get some rambling, especially if I've had a couple cocktails. If it's late at night, whatever. I don't give a shit. We're all human on this planet. You know, and we all work, we all have fun, we all do what we do, and it's what makes us trash in the best fucking way. All right, trailer trash. Till next time. Peace out.